Hi there, this is John Drew and Jole Gabrielle from Elevated Planet. Today, for our Elevated Planet community, we are talking about the second chakra. And for that, I'm going to hand over to our resident expert, Jole Gabrielle. And welcome, Jole. So I shall just leave the floor open to you.
All right. So thanks for having me, as always, collaborating with me. And this is the sacral chakra. It's located at your belly button. Some people say 2 inches below, but your belly button is a circle. So just say that would be the place where you could find your sacral chakra. In Sanskrit, it's called Swvatistana, and it means my own sweet abode. It's really a place that requires a lot of self-love, and it deals with your appetites, food, sex, pleasure, those types of things, joy. So really having healthy boundaries along with being disciplined but allowing yourself to be free is a very big component of this chakra. Some of the energy or your personality, however you want to look at it, that it kind of helps influence or guide would deal with your sensuality, your sexuality, your creativity, your worthiness. So when we talk about sensuality and sexuality as energy, we're looking at it in terms of your ability to get people to support you and your endeavors, how you market and sell yourself, and how you can magnetize in more of that pleasure and help you reach, your highest good. And so it's a big, big physical chakra, and it really wants you to start to nourish yourself. So it's concerned with our physical well-being, but it is also really important for us to realize it's the seat of our worthiness as well. How we feel about ourselves, how we're showing up in the world is a big part of this running properly. We feel good about ourselves, our self-esteem. And it is the age that it usually becomes resonant, it starts resonating or developing is between the ages of 7 and 14. It is to know who you are and what you do are enough, and that you have value just because you are here. You don't have to do anything or say anything or be anything other than what you are to know that you deserve to have a good life and you have value.
Yeah, and I'd say, just like, sorry to butt in, but, I do think that one of the things I think I've noticed more in the world of social media and the likes, that worthiness thing is an important point, right? Because I think a lot of people's worthiness gets dragged down. So belief in self-belief, self-worth, and all this kind of thing. Yeah. I think this is a different age, and it's quite a challenge, I think, for many people.
It is, because what it is, it's, you allowing yourself to receive. And oftentimes, especially if you look at social media, you're receiving a lot, you can be, or you can really be receiving nothing in terms of likes and subscriptions and things like that. Nevertheless, people really feel empowered to go ahead and be a little rude and a little bit judgmental. So right. When you influencer or you're trying to make your way in social media, this is an area that is very important to work with, because it will allow you to open up enough to receive in constructive criticism, but have enough self-esteem to keep going and move past that. No matter how many likes or followers you have, to sit in the seat of your worthiness, that I deserve to be here no matter whether or not you are liking, subscribing, or trolling me. I'm still worthy.
Right.
And, that's important. Some of the physical activities that can help to open this up would be, of course, yoga. Prayer is always, every single chakra benefits by prayer. Swimming, walking, dancing, anything that moves the body is going to allow for this to open up, because you start to move and then you start to feel and you start to discover other things about yourself. So the importance of this chakra as well is to neither be too open or too closed. You want to really strike a balance with yourself. And some of the archetypes that match with this would be the Empress or the Emperor, meaning you are in control of not only your own self, but there's a little community of your family or whoever that you're also able to be an example for. And so you are speaking into existence what it is that you want, but you are also being that and manifesting and co-creating. And that's why this is such a creative chakra, because the lower three, as we know, are all about action and execution. Why? Because common sense, they're kind of closest to your legs, right? And that's what moves you forward. So these lower three chakras really kind of help you to move in this 3D world and complete tasks and projects. So a nice, open, but chakra with healthy boundaries allows for you to really take your time and stay the course. Because you know why? You have value, you feel worthy, and what you do, you know, is going to benefit others.
Right.
Now,
yeah. I mean, the healthy boundaries thing, it does make a lot of sense. And again, coming back to the social media thing, and I say this, but I'm not a big social media person myself. I never have been. But
yeah,
nevertheless, you see the impact it has, you know, on your family and on family and friends. And it can be a wonderful thing. It can be a wonderful tool, but it can also be misused. And I think one of the other things that it does, which would affect this chakra as I see it, is that there's this thing that like the media have portrayed us over the years, and social media just reinforces it. It's all about the physical body, you know, the perfection of physical body over spirit, right?
yeah,
And how that affects people's worthiness, because, you know, maybe they're not, you know, the size 10 figure and, you know, the perfect looks that the media demands that the best people be, right? And we know, you know, when you look at it from the reality, the physical body you travel through life in is important, because it's your vehicle to take you through life. But that's all it is, right? It's not you. The real you is here. And I think that this is one of the risks of social media and the worthiness thing. It comes from the fact that social media can demean that, as the media itself can do, because they're trying to present this perfection of what a perfect person looks like, with, you know, like whether it's a woman or a man, the way that you should be, right?
mm-hmm.
So I think that this is a great tool to have, to be able to meditate on this sort of thing, because it would help you get your perspective back around that, so you don't get too drawn into that misleading view.
Correct.
Of
Because then what happens when you allow for that programming and conditioning to overtake your value, you start to be victim. You know, you start to have this victim mentality of lack and limitation. And then you have the negative archetype of the chakra, which is the martyr. And, you know, it's like you're depriving yourself now of the simple pleasures in life. You know, you're not allowing for yourself to learn and grow. You're forbidding yourself pleasure, warmth and comfort, because you have to go save something or someone. When in all actuality, it is very important for you to have agency over yourself, regardless of what the coming in of the programming and the conditioning or the media or that, and really be resilient, because it's a choice. You know, you can decide, you know what, I'm going to work in this energy so that I can become stronger, more resilient, and I can begin to pave the way. Because social media, I know for me, I'm very inconsistent. I don't particularly care for it. I have my own issues around it, which I'm working on, but it does hit me right there in the gut. And so this is a good place, if you are a person who wants to become an influencer, to really work on your worthiness and your self-esteem. A lot of women and men hold stress in the reproductive organs, especially the cervix. So one of the things, just a brief little meditation, is that you can bring in white light, you know, into your crown or up from Mother Earth, and let it sit there in your reproductive organs and resolve and dissolve the stress that may be there. Especially in this time where a lot of people, I feel, are struggling with fertility. Well, if you are stressed out and, you know, you're holding a lot of angst in your body, most likely the cervix, the uterus, the ovaries, and all these wonderful places that create life are the ones holding on to this energy. So later on, we're going to do a meditation that's going to help to release some of that. Now, this is also a very spiritual chakra, because if you think about it, creativity. So although it is physical, it deals with the reproductive organs and pleasure and feeling. It also is very much so a receptacle of spiritual energy. And when you are abusing your body and treating it like a machine, you will wear down. And so it's important that you tap into this chakra, because there can be access to very deep, deep, unconscious well of knowledge and of yourself and how to proceed throughout life. So I would tell anyone that has issues with programming, with what you talked about of feeling like they have to fit into this Instagram lifestyle, to first do a deep dive into this area of the body and their health and well-being here, how they feel about sex and pleasure. You know, like, can you sit with yourself and feel pleasure and feel good without doing anything? You know what I'm saying? Like, just sit there and say, you know, I love myself, I'm beautiful, I deserve to be here. Can you go there? Because if you can, and you can really feel that and embody that, there you go. You're opening up that second chakra and you're allowing for yourself to grow. Also, this chakra really helps us with have optimal health, you know, and it encourages us to have that exercise, and it is a place where we can really regenerate our energy, but it needs assistance. You know, it's the sacral chakra. So when we feel worthy, we take care of our bodies. When we feel good about ourselves, we eat right, and we appreciate who and what we are. And that's so important. And so I know for me, this was a place where I spend a lot of time, and I had to work, because like you spoke about, in this area of the body, we judge ourselves. You know, it is the hips, it is the stomach. And this is the place where, as your core is strong, not only is your core, meaning your abdomen, strong, and is this a place where you can bend and move? Are you out of breath? And also your spiritual core. Are you connected to those gut feelings, your instincts, your intuition? And when you start experiencing emotions, how do you process them? And what do you do? So those are some of the questions that I just lay on the table for those that are wanting to get more in touch with themselves.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting point there about the intuition, the gut instinct, all this kind of thing. Because again, I was living in a left brain existence for many decades, and I'd always overthink everything. I'd get some sort of instinctive path that would seem like the right thing to do, but then I would correct myself incorrectly, because the instincts were generally right, but I would override myself because I didn't trust it. So that's one thing that I definitely have learned over the last couple of years, since I've been getting quite deeper into the meditation side of things. It is getting back, it's certainly that feeling of worthiness, the comfort with who I am, and the fact that, when these instincts come through, follow it, just trust it. And it makes a big difference. But I think, again, this is the world we live in doesn't necessarily encourage that. And I think this is a case of trying to get your power back again, is by really realizing where that's coming from. And it's coming from a higher place. It's coming from a wiser place than what goes on in amongst the gray cells, which are kind of fighting their own little internal battle. Well, that's actually coming from a place of higher wisdom. Trust it. There's a reason.
Yes, absolutely. Because having reasons and connecting with them and being able to be okay with letting them grow. Oftentimes we have ideas, we have thoughts, we have feelings, and what do? We push them down. We stop them because they don't fit in. I mean, now we're getting a little bit better about that because we have access to the entire world practically. You can live in America and have access to Australia and see people there that may be aligning with what you align with, right? So it's very good as a tool, social media and the internet and the World Wide Web. But sometimes it can really get to you and make you feel as if you are unworthy. And that is why, you want to take time away from those things and rest really regenerate and find balance. And this is the chakra that can help you do that. When you start to get the heebie-jeebies, you know, when you start to feel overwhelmed, this chakra is asking you, hey, take a break, reconnect with nature, reconnect with pleasure, your own. Like, I know when I say that, people automatically go into sex. And it's like, yes, that's beautiful, that's wonderful, that's a seed of creation. But, you know, you should be able to experience that without having to do anything around that part of your body. You know, you should be able to feel pleasure, feel joy inherently and at your core. And then you go ahead and express that. So really what this meditation and what working with the chakras is all about is for you to dig into those, being able to call those energies into your life or have them bubble up within you so that there's more of a rich experience with life without having to be codependent or narcissistic or some of these things that we are being bombarded with, you know, through media, but as well as people's behaviors. And when you're around that type of energy, it has a tendency to want to shut you down, or me, or anyone. So once you have that inherent value quotient, you're good, you know, and that's this meditation is all about. Because just like there's rest and regeneration, what is the opposite of that? Discipline. You know what I mean? You have to have that healthy boundaries. So that's another thing that we want to balance with the pleasure and the sensuality and the sexuality, is knowing when and how to use it so that we don't harm ourselves, because too much of anything is going to cause discord. So just remembering, what does the sacral chakra help me with? Balance, healthy balance, feeling worthy and having inherent value just from existing. And then from there, the building blocks are that you create, you're productive, you bring pleasure into your life, you know how to receive, but at the same time, you have the discipline to be productive.
Yeah. And that word balance, you know, I remember, I think on our previous work that we did, you were talking a lot about the coming back into balance. When you find yourself scattered in whatever way, coming back into balance is important. And it's amazing how quickly you can do it. Once you start practicing this meditation, it really doesn't take as long as you'd think to actually be able to center yourself and come back into balance and feel so much better about things that you were troubling yourself, worrying about before, you know, the worry monster and all this kind of thing. You know, it soon sinks into the background when you can actually take the time out to do that.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the ways that we can really connect with our sacral chakra is doing exercises, meditations that release the tension out of our reproductive organs, and really bring us into a state of joy. And so people are emotionally unavailable. It's very hard to experience pleasure because you're not in touch with your emotions. And then also too, if you're a little over in touch with your emotions, it brings in a lot of repellent energy, like you're repelling people because you're over emotional. We got that martyr going on, right? And also in this area of the body is where if it's deficient, we're feeling a lot of guilt. So, and that's just a construct. So we need to really figure out how to live in a place of joy.
Right.
When you are, you know, deficient in this chakra, you don't feel like you deserve things. You know, you feel as if you are unworthy. And that is very draining to those around you because it's this constant need for validation. And we find that within ourselves by a spiritual practice. There is no amount of validation that can come from outside of you that can help you sustain that, right? Like you're in, it's like a drug. You're in, do I look stressed? Am I okay? Did I say that? Stop. Be you and let the chips fall where they may, and then learn how to take in constructive criticism and then course correct, right? So that's the easiest way to do things. I mean, it's simple, but it's not easy, I should say. However, if you just have that in your mind, let me just be authentically who I am. If there's something that somebody will let me know, and then I can take that in and then course correct. But at the same time, I have boundaries and know that I'm okay no matter what I do. We really want you to feel that way, because it creates a ripple effect around you to where people are at ease in your presence.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
I can see it. I can see it. And, I can sense exactly, what you're saying. And I think, again, it comes back to this point that we've made a few times. And it's certainly something I've learned a lot, which is that we have a lot more wisdom within us than we kind of give. We're always looking outwards for the answer and reaching out for the answer. Whereas in reality, if we trust, if we can get ourselves within and connected, then we learn that actually we are so much more capable than we realize. So we're not just this physical being, we're actually something so much more significant than that. And it's a great way of getting your power back and living life in a much better way.
I agree. And so why don't we just go ahead and do a brief or a meditation, helping to tap in, tune in to this sacral chakra and see what is there, letting go of some of the things we no longer want and bringing in the things that we desire.
Yes, let's just go straight into it. Let's just do it.
Okay, feet flat on the floor, palms face up. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And we want you to begin to breathe with the rhythm of your body. Take a moment to connect with your breath. And then as you catch that rhythm, command that your heart and your breath sync up. Now, this does not necessarily mean one breath, one heartbeat. It may be a breath, and it may be 2 heartbeats, maybe 3. But we want to go ahead and breathe and command our heart sync up with our breath. And once that has been done, we want to bring our awareness down into our root chakra and create our grounding cord. And I'm just going to briefly remind you to keep the visualization going through the lithosphere and the asthenosphere, and then you want to root yourself into the core of Mother Earth. And really visualize and see some of the activity that goes on as you move through the dirt. Maybe you see some bones and shale. As you move through the lithosphere, you go to the Marianas Trench and you hit the ocean and you see some convection, subduction, stalagmites, stalactites, glow-in-the-dark fish as you penetrate down into the asthenosphere. And you go down, down, down into the core and grow roots. You want to make sure that your grounding cord is of a natural fiber, like a beam of light, a tunnel of water, a rope, a tree trunk, an anchor, crystal quartz, so on and so forth. And you also want to make sure it is 6 inches in diameter, connected to your first chakra. We're going to go ahead and clean it off with golden rose-shaped cleaning utensils. Gold bringing in divine life force energy, rose being the universal symbol of transmuting negative energy into positive energy, as well as providing protection. Clean it and watch those utensils go all the way down your grounding cord, and separating, cleaning off the roots, and they fall into the core of Mother Earth, turning into positive, creative life force energy for anyone to use. And then when you're ready, bring your awareness into the center of your head. Imagine your crown chakra opening like the lens of a camera, and whatever deity or divine creator that you believe in places a beautiful golden sun above your head, filling it up with self-love, forgiveness, compassion. And you want to go ahead and bring that down. Allow it to melt down your skull, your entire cranium. And then it'll focus its way down that spine, lighting up each vertebra. As it moves itself down into the grounding cord, and it just like melted chocolate or a waterfall, it fills up the inside and the outside. And once again, we want to visualize this golden essence from the very top of our chakra all the way down to the tippy ends of the roots, and any excess goes into Mother Earth. And this grounding cord and you are now brought into the present moment, which is the point of power. Now, I'd like for you to bring your awareness to the Swvatistana, or the second sacral chakra, which is right at your belly button, right where your reproductive organs are. And any stress, any negative energy, any martyr, victimhood, lack, and limitation, we want to turn it a bright orange color. And then I see all of this orange splattering of stuff in there that just, it doesn't bode well for making my chakra spin properly. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in some cleaning utensils, golden rose shaped, little mop. If you've ever seen Fantasia, it can go like that. You know, these things, they fly in there, they clean them off. If that visualization doesn't work for you, you just turn it bright red and act like the grounding cord is sort of like a toilet, and you can just flush all this negative energy, guilt, worry, doubt, and fear. Send it down your grounding cord. For those of you that use the cleaning utensils, you can, when you're done, you can send that down the grounding cord too. And you're like, oh, well, how do I do that? Create a trap door, open up that channel, use your imagination to remove and resolve that energy out of your body and into Mother Earth, because she can handle it. That's the thing about these meditations, is that you can allow for your energy to go where it can be recycled into positive life force energy for anyone to use, which is consciously giving it to Mother Earth. Because your friend, your mate, your child, your coworker, it's very difficult for them to handle the emotions. Now they have to process not only theirs, but yours as well. And with this chakra, we want to make sure that we receive joy and we give joy. So anything that is out of alignment with joyfulness, deservedness, creativity, sensuality, pleasure, move it on out and down that grounding. And then once again, see a beautiful golden sun placed above your head by the divine creator. You want to bring that down, let it go ahead and melt down, fill up that cranium. Once again, it focuses its energy down the spine, and then it begins to fill up that second sacral chakra with beautiful divine life force energy, renewal, regeneration, regrouping of the emotions, and allowing for us to really be lucid and articulate the way that we feel with grace and ease, non-violently. We can also express ourselves without offense, giving or receiving. And just sit with this for a minute and see what it feels like to let go of what no longer serves and bring in more of the actualization of our highest potential. Now, I would just like us to do one more quick visualization, specifically focusing on the health of our pleasure center or reproductive organ. And so this time, the divine creator connects a pipeline to your crown straight from the ether and is pouring a beautiful white light down. And allow that to fill up your head, and it moves down and fills up your heart. And then it moves down and it fills up your reproductive organs. Removing, resolving any stress that may be sitting here, any dis-ease, any illness, lack of creativity, emotional issues and negativity that may be blocking your pleasure. Any guilt, just see this beautiful, almost neon white. It's so beautiful and bright, it's almost blinding. And allow it to just burn up and move out any negative energies, preconceived ideas about sex and pleasure, shame or guilt that may be surrounding your sexuality, or your need for support. Don't feel bad about asking for support in a way that honors you and the person that you're asking. So just let this white light beam down into your head, into your heart, and into that sacral chakra, filling you up, moving out all the things that no longer serve you, and bringing in a stress-free, pleasurable experience that you can share with others. And when you are ready, you can see the creator, divine creator, move the pipeline back up, disconnect it from your crown. You can go ahead and close your crown like the lens of the camera. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes.